When we published our report in 2011, one of the most important things and moments, where we questioned, should we be doing this? But we pushed ahead was to reveal to people that if you're really committed to helping your kids climb this mountain, you got to be talking about all your kids. And not just the kids who walk across the stage and get a diploma. And I think it's really important for us as a movement. If we're going to lead, if we're actually going to be leaders in discussions of what kind of public education we need to offer in America, we have to be open about that. So there are all these, for years we get all these end of year emails and notes saying 100% of our kids are going to college, 100%. And it's actually, I think, a disservice. And it's a disservice for more than one reason. First, it's a disservice because the fine print is 100% of our graduating seniors got a college admission letter. Let's break that down. That isn't 100% of our incoming freshmen. And so if you're going to be honest about the challenge in America, when people talk about the dropout crisis or people talk about the number of kids who are prepared for college in the workforce, they're talking about every kid. They're not talking about the kids who made it and walked across that stage. And so our report laid that bare. We said, look, we're talking about every 8th grader. How did they do? Not every senior and not every graduating senior. And the reality is, part of the reason we're not where we want to be is not every 8th grader went on to college. The second issue that I think we need to be open about is everyone was talking about, oh, they're getting admission to college. Well, did they go? There's a big issue of summer melt. A lot of young people growing up first-gen families don't actually end up enrolling. Then we dug in some more and we said, well, still, why, even if we have the majority of our 8th graders admitted to college, and even if the majority of them then go on to college, why don't we have more than 36% getting a BA degree? And here's what we found. Our guidance process was completely inadequate to the challenge. If you look at the class of 2013, our seniors in 2013, 82% of the applications they submitted, our seniors, went to schools that, based on that class's GPA and ACT scores, would either be viewed as almost guaranteed admission schools or schools the odds of admission were less than 10%. So literally almost, well, more than 8 in 10 of our kids' applications were going to schools that were in the very far end of the spectrum and very little in the middle. That is not what's happening for affluent kids and middle-class kids in America. They were told, no, when you're applying to college, you want to look at schools that would be a reach, schools that would be a sweet spot, a 1 in 2 chance of getting into, and schools that would you be most likely to get into. So we realized we need to redo this whole process. Over the last 3 years, we've gone at it. In 2014, when we were just learning this, only 1 in 10 KIPP students, KIPP seniors, applied to 6 or more colleges across a spectrum of selectivity. 2 years later, this year, almost 6 in 10 kids did. This is something we can all do. There's nothing about this that is special to KIPP, but it was a huge part of what we had to learn. Second thing that we're grappling with, that I think, again, all of us are, this is not a KIPP-specific issue. 4 out of 10 KIPP seniors, when offered admission to more than one college, enroll in the college whose graduation rates are more than 10 points below the other option they had. Think about that. These are all kids, 95% African American, Latino, first in their family to get to this moment. And 4 out of 10, when presented with more than one option, choose an option whose graduation rate is not as good as the others on the table. We own that as well, and we're digging in to solve for that. So our objective is, we think near term, we want to see 1 out of every 2 KIPPsters get a BA degree. We think that's absolutely achievable. To do that, we need to be able to provide an education that's kindergarten through 12th grade. We learned middle school would not be enough if we're really about climbing that mountain to college. We learned we have to have outstanding guidance, make sure our kids are applying to the right mix of schools to optimize their chances of success. And the third thing we learned is, even doing that, where you go really matters. And so over the last 4 years, we have formed partnerships with 75 higher ed institutions across all ranges of selectivity, from community colleges in Austin, Texas, and New York City, to Duke University and the University of Pennsylvania. And we see these partnerships as a key lever to increasing success for first-gen kids across the country.